Have you ever wondered how famous Japanese sharpener Takayuki Shibata gets his knives screaming sharp? It isn't only because his knives are thin, but he claims it is due to what has been coined differential grit sharpening. Let's talk about it and try to achieve similar results today. Not only is Shibata-san the mastermind inventor of numerous kitchen knife brands, but also the Bitey Finisher Whetstone. He developed this whetstone so that he could allow the user at home or in the professional kitchen to learn differential grit sharpening and achieve similar levels of sharpness that he does with his out-of-box edges. Just like you'll experience on his kotetsu knives, for instance. Today we'll unbox the Bitey Finisher Whetstone and explain exactly how to use this whetstone to get your knives screaming sharp, like he does, giving it just enough bite to cut through a cherry tomato effortlessly, but also still cut through an onion with ease as if it had a polished edge. First, the definition. In its simplest form as it pertains to sharpening, differential grit sharpening can be defined as the act by which you sharpen one side of a knife to a higher grit and the other side of a knife to a lower grit to get the combined properties of bite from the lower grit stone and a polished edge from the higher grit stone. I will explain Shibata-san's technique here shortly, and we'll go through the whole process with his whetstone. But first, the unboxing. The unboxing of this stone is very straightforward. Nice, simple, beautiful, elegant packaging, emphasizing the stone is made by Takayuki Shibata in Japan. A super bright box, which reminds me of a salon-style theme like my late grandfather's straight razors. Here's an example. No frills, the box just holds the whetstone and nothing else. Now, remember, this is a composite whetstone, so one side is 600 grit and the other side is 1200 grit. Even though the stone is new, Shibata-san recommends flattening it to ensure it is properly flat. I used an Otoma 140 to get this done. It took no time at all. It is worth noting this stone is meant to add a new edge to your knife, not fix any chips, small repairs, or thinning. Your knife should already be thin behind the edge, and you're simply wanting to give your kitchen knife a new edge. Speaking of thin behind the edge, that is why today I chose to showcase Shibata-san's Bitey Finisher Whetstone on a knife I personally wanted to have more bite since I got it. A Manaka forged, HADO polished 180mm Bunka with a handle by Adonis Forged Arts. Super thin blade, but I wanted the out-of-box edge to have a touch more bite. So here's my chance. Initially, the method Takayuki Shibata uses to sharpen is no different than any other sharpening progression. Low to high grit stone progression. The matrix in his combination stone is such that both the 600 and 1200 feel slightly higher grit than the number indicated. He recommends soaking the stone for 1 to 10 minutes. When you no longer see bubbles emerging from the stone, it is ready to go. For me, that process took about 3 minutes. We start sharpening on the 600 grit side, and as is common for right-handed users, start sharpening on the right face of the blade. You'll want to use the 600 grit stone for both sides of the knife. Create a burr on the left side by sharpening the right side, then flip on the same grit stone to the left side to remove the burr and raise it on the right side. Now we flip the stone over to the 1200 grit side. Same principle, sharpening the right side first, if that's how you started on the 600 grit, raise a burr, flip the blade, and sharpen on the left side. Now flip the stone back to 600 grit, and this is where the magic of Takayuki Shibata's master sharpening technique comes into play. Here we will be using edge leading strokes instead of edge trailing. For those of you not familiar with the difference, here's a simple diagram. Edge leading means you move the blade in the direction of the edge, not the spine. Now that your 600 grit side is facing up, using the left side, perform one edge leading stroke as such. Flip the stone to the 1200 grit side. Now, one right side edge leading stroke. He recommends doing this 3 times, which I did exactly that. On each repetition, I lighten the pressure just a smidge. For fun, and to mimic the video he put together on his YouTube, I verified the bite on my nail. Felt good, really sharp and deep actually, so I was satisfied at this point. Lastly, as always, the bird on a leather strop. He used a jean cloth in his video, but I don't have such a large piece of jean fabric, so I used a leather strop, which is the same concept. Always just for fun, the paper test to make sure that edge is clean and the bird. And then, just like his video, the carrot test so that we can hear the bite. Yet, see how smoothly it cuts through the carrot as well. A few test cuts, and for fun, to measure our success at putting a new crisp edge barely holding the knife to see if the weight of the blade alone can cut through this carrot. Alright, one last test to mimic his video. I've never seen this carrot dicing technique done before, but I absolutely love it and the sound. The bite is intoxicating, so I just had to do it myself. There you have it. That is how the Bitey Finisher Whetstone from Takayuki Shibata-san is meant to be used with his differential grit sharpening technique. The whetstone is for sale. The technique is not, but you can watch this video as many times as you need to get familiar with it. Thank you Shibata-san for sending me the Bitey Finisher Whetstone to try out. I was very pleased with the results on my Manaka / HADO Bunka and feel that my results are further supported by duplicating the tests that he performed on his version of this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.